All right, we've heard from 13-year-old Kingsley Okpara Chibuikem his opening counter argument around the motion. We'll now get back to Martha OLUWABUSAYOMI UMAHONLEN. All right then. So you've got 3 minutes for your rebuttal.
Just spoke more on bullying being in day school more than boarding school. I love to say that lack of supervision outside school in day school could cause more bullies, and that's why in boarding school teachers are always more close to the students. They have these place where they have more counselors in boarding school where they counsel students on these cases. In day school we have limited, because students have limited times. They go home, and sometimes this day school students, their parents are unaware about bullying. They don't know much about the case called bullying, so they just take it as a normal thing that, okay, just be yourself. Okay, if they shout at you to shout at them. They have this impression that maybe it's just a normal stuff, but it's not. In boarding school they teach you more and encourage you, and it's less, because in boarding school we have teachers all around. Now in day school there are limited teachers. Most times they have free periods where the students are just hanging around. Bullying could occur in such occasions, but in boarding school we have teachers almost everywhere with them. They are always together. Now bullying can escalate off campus. Now in day school, when school close, most day students hang around. They don't go home. Bullying could escalate, and just from few arguments, it could turn into something more critical. And we have lots of exchange of words that could make those children have low self-esteem, less emotional support. In boarding schools, we have this team or staffs whereby they are counselors, the mentor students, we have mentees. The students are the mentees, the counselors mentor them on a lot. They will mentor them on bullying, how to defend themselves and how to stop this. In boarding school, I think boarding school has more, or let's see, bullying is more like severe in day school. Bullying is more severe in day school than in boarding schools. Thanks.
All right, you just heard Martha take a go at the rebuttal. That was her attempt at taking out her opponent's point. We get to find out how Kingsley performs.
Your time starts now.
Standing on the existing protocols, I still remain my humble Kingsley here to give my rebuttal. To my opponent's matter, thank you for even saying that there is more supervision in boarding schools than in day schools. Day schools have zero supervision after school hours. There is no fact that teachers will go around monitoring their students, watching them, and making sure that bullying does not make any sense. You said something about close proximity. Students live together 24/7 in boarding school, giving opportunity for bullying to rise. In the fact that they live together, as you say, they are under the watch of their patrons, their matrons, and even teaching staff who lives in the hostel. There's no way that bullying will be able to make sure take place in there. But in places like our day schools, where students are mostly in school, they have stuff like free periods, break time, and other things where you can see hidden fact and bullying in day schools. You also said something about group anonymity. Students begin to crave groups that they usually use to come together. If in boarding schools they are given exact and intense supervision, also they are given strict curriculum, rules and regulations, which does not even give them time for them to be able to go into unnecessary and unmonitoring behaviors like bullying. To my opponents, I will just say these few points and conclude. Bullying in boarding schools is not as severe as it is in day school. There are more monitoring in boarding schools because they know that they are away from their parents. So teachers will try their best to be able to make that parental law and make the monitoring and supervision more strict. Unlike in day schools, that now they know that students are still going home, but they will not be monitored. They can bully themselves on the streets and in various places. Thank you.
All right. And we have heard their rebuttal then. Mata.
We have a final stage to go before it's a wrap. We'll get the results and who is moving on to the stage of 16. But, do we give them 30 seconds to breathe? Or maybe not.
I am looking at the clock because we need to go on a break and would take the closing after that. But I think you can give 3 minutes to one person.
Then come right back afterwards and get right into the next person.
But wouldn't have got a divide in the flow. You know what?
Yeah. So we'll wait on the breather we're going to take right now. Come right back and get into what they're.
So you both have like 2 minutes. Put your thought together. We'll go on a break so that your closing is not interrupted by our break, where we start one closing and then take extended time before the next person comes on board. Let's look at some comments quickly.
In the meantime, you can catch up on our YouTube and Facebook platforms to see how the debate is going. Watch live and still drop your comments at Nigeria Info Abuja. You can also share your thoughts with us on our WhatsApp platform as well as on X at Nigeria Info ABJ.
Don't forget, we are also on Instagram. You get all the highlight, all the creative videos, all the fun stuff. It happens also on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Abuja. Follow us. Why are you guys not following us on socials? Why? You don't like us that much?
Well, they have no choice at this point. They're part of it already. Okay, let's get into some of the comments on the WhatsApp platform. In the last debate in Lagos, the judges encouraged the debaters to round up their thoughts after the sound of the bell. It's best to know that such grace exists than end with incomplete sentences. Well, they're allowed to actually round up their thoughts while the bell goes off. So, yes, thank you, Tokwe, for sharing your thoughts.
But you said 2 seconds back that no. And now Tokwe has just, I don't know what she did to you. And
but here's the
yes.
thing. Once the bell goes off, their thoughts are already rounded. They end their sentences most times. They're allowed to do that.
Oh, you let them know then.
Okay, now you know.
All right then. Engineer David Ochi says, well done, Walk to Wall in the studio. Seriously, these kids really need to... Okay, this is not for you guys, so you know. It is not for you. It was from previous set of debaters. Sit up, their preparation is very poor. Were private schools were they not intimidated about the debate? How come we only have 2 schools competing in the whole of Abuja? Please let the diction coach work thoroughly on all participants before coming to the studio. The job is not to train them before they come into the studio. It's to come out here that they are trained.
All right.
When they come into the studio.
Well, Emeka from Cotonou says, I'm set, ready, and positioned, waiting to hear the brilliant students from the FCT. Well done. Making it worthwhile is what Emeka in Cotonou shares. Okay.
And from the previous debate, apparently DJSS Tunga Maje had a lot of their people in the room rooting for their student. At this point, we see you guys. We see you from Tunga Maje. We see you from Piakasa and all the schools that have sent representation here. We see all a year. We'll take a quick break. And when we return, we'll get a closing from Martha and from Kingsley. Stay with us.
Abuja, are you ready? I beg to differ. Debate season 2 is here. Only the best will advance from round 2 of 32 to the showdown. Who will emerge as the season 2 champion? Starting 24th, catch all the action live at 3 p.m. daily on 95.1 Nigeria Info and streaming on YouTube and Facebook. Their arguments will shape the debate. They will convince you. Abuja, are you ready? I beg to differ. Debate season 2 is here. Only the best will advance from round 2 of 32 to the showdown.
Welcome back to your number 1 talk, news, and sports station. This is Nigeria Info.
Legacy is written in notes of joy, displayed in a dance of satisfaction. It's a melody of heartfelt laughter, knowing you are exactly where you've always dreamed of being. Legacy is a careful selection of choices made to capture the true meaning of ambition. At At Stanbic IBTC, we understand that building a legacy is not just about what you do, but those you do it for. Let us bank the legacy you envision. Visit www.stanbicibtcbank.com to learn more about our private banking solutions tailored just for you. Stanbic IBTC, a member of Standard Bank Group.
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
is
As we have Martha OLUWABUSAYOMI UMAHONLEN from Government Secondary School Orozo supporting motion that bullying is more severe in boarding schools than in day schools, and Kingsley Okpara Chibuikem from Government Science Secondary School Piakasa Maitama begs to differ. So Martha, are you ready to give us your closing?
Yes, ma'am.
Your time starts now.
In conclusion, I've said bullying is more severe in boarding school than in day schools. Teachers are not always with students. I made mention of hostels. Teachers are not always there with students in hostels. So students have this time, those bullies have this time to go in there, say words of discouragement to kids. And bullying does not only mean by when students slap or beat themselves, true words, and at times even teachers do bully students by the words they utter to them in classrooms. At times teachers say some words that are not encouraging, some discouraging words that make the students feel so like have this low self-esteem, saying that he can't do it. And you said that there is supervisions in boarding schools, but I will say no, that because at times these teachers can also be a bully to students in boarding school. There's not always much time for teachers. As I said, hostels. Teachers are not always with students in boarding schools. They have this limited external support. They don't really see their families or people to talk to. And some students don't even like talking to teachers because some does not know how to relate with them. So they prefer talking to their families. And in boarding schools, you only have this time to talk to your family when there is an open day or when you're on break. And some students have this fear that they can't even say something at all. And they'll have more excluded times where they are always like they are stuck in there. In day school now, you could go home, talk to your mom, talk to your parents. Even though you cannot relate to teachers, you can relate with your parents. But in boarding school, they don't have that time. That's why I say bullying is more severe in boarding school. Thanks.
All right, so we've heard a closing argument from Martha. She drops her mic with her solid support for bullying being more severe in boarding schools than in day school. Kingsley Okpara Chibuikem.
Your time starts now.
In conclusion, labeling bullying as more severe in boarding school is completely against the factors that influences student security. Boarding schools provide things like round-the-clock adult eyesight and even close-knit students communities, which completely eradicates any trace of bullying from boarding schools. These students, after school hours, are completely away from student supervision, and their parents will have no idea of what they are doing after school, which allows them to engage in such ungodly acts as bullying. Now, my opponents, if I may ask you, you said that teachers may also engage in this bullying. Now, aren't there patrons, and their matrons in the hostel that students will be able to report to? But now in this school where you mentioned about students returning home. Now, if students return home, like students' parents that have like approximately 8 to even 9 white collar or even blue collar jobs, we will not have times to even listen to their kids. Like now, there are some students who may go home, they will not see their parents until the next morning. Then they are waking up and getting ready for school, which will not allow them to even report any case of bullying to their parents. As I'm about to conclude this debate, no matter the place, whether boarding or day school, is free from intimidation, hazing, or even physical abuse. So policies should be put into place that will completely eradicate bullying from day and boarding schools. Thank you.
All right, finally, we've come to the end. We've heard their presentation, we heard their rebuttal, we heard their closing. And as the judges are doing the maths, we'll wait to get the verdict of our diction judge. How did they perform, Olivia?
Prediction on both ends. Prediction on both ends. However, there were moments where your pronunciation could have been better. Martha, one word you could have pronounced better is the word hostel. Okay? That word's not hostel, it's hostel. And then there's this phrase, or should I say statement you made when you said that the teachers would teach the students how to defend their self. So the correct reflexive pronoun for they is themselves and not their self. How to defend their self. Kingsley, well done. You need to work on filler words like now. You kept repeating that. Other than that, good diction on both ends. Thank you.
All right. So we've heard from Olivia, the diction judge. Now we'll wait to hear from the green room.
The returning officer will be here in no time. Hopefully, there is nothing that would hold her back from getting here to give us the results, and we can announce and know who's moving on to the next stage. But in the meantime, you can catch up on YouTube and Facebook at Nigeria Info Abuja to watch the show live and get updates on our X and Instagram pages. On X, it is Nigeria Info ABJ, and on Instagram, it is Nigeria Info FM Abuja. While we wait, here's a shout out to our sponsors, Hamzat Lawal of Connected Development and Follow the Money, 313 Beru the Shanj, Happiness Computers, Collier Angels, dealing on phone accessories and IT gadgets, and Creative Fingers, Cakes and Bites in Live Camp. Welcome to our returning officer. Please approach. Thank you very much.
All right, the verdict. Well, it's finally in. And this is how the judges. Okay, interesting. So, who supports the motion? Martha. We're going to start with you. Martha supports the motion that bullying is more severe in boarding schools than in day schools. And for Martha, student of Government Secondary School Orozo, for your presentation, you got a 6. For your rebuttal, apparently no point at all, because you didn't quite take on your opponent's point. You just gave your own point, but didn't argue it. So you didn't get a point for that, sadly. For your closing, you got a 5.5. For your presentation style, you got a 9. In total, you got 20.5. Kingsley Okpara Chibuikem from Government Science Secondary School Piakasa Maitama, who begged to differ on the topic, got 8 in his presentation. He got a 9 for his rebuttal. He got 7 for his closing. You got an 18 for your style of presentation, and in total, they give you a 42. Okay. And I see Irene Bangwell. Yes. One of the judges in the studio with us.
Yes, she has no points on the rebuttal because she agreed with his points during the entire time. So she
Sadly.
spoke to his point, agreeing that she gave evidences why bullying was more severe in day schools, which was the exact opposite of what she was supposed to do. That's why she has no points.
All right. Well,
Thank
you see what brought you down? You gave your opponent all the points. You agreed with him at this point in time, and it worked to his advantage, sadly. So that's something for you to note, Martha, in future debate. When we talk about a rebuttal, is to say that point you made is absolute nonsense and argue against it and not feed his point. You get it now? Well, I wish you better luck next time because you're out of the competition.
But better luck next time. Come back here next year, and we'll be happy to have you be a part of the Beg to Differ debate again. Wish you all the best, but impressive performances by Martha and
Kingsley. All right, Kingsley, you've got a strong 42. Boy, oh boy. I wish you the very best in the round of 16, because the other 42ers waiting there also and more. And I hope you prep yourself, build up the fire, give us a bit of energy. All right? As you present your argument also.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you,
the
ma'am.
best.
Okay, time for us to wait for our next batch. Our final batch for today has been interesting and intense. Like what you're saying on the live feed on YouTube.
And just so you know, you guys don't get tired. Don't leave us. It's the last set. It's the playoffs. It's plenty. We have to do the screening on air, all right? When we get to the round of 16, it will be a bit more relaxed. It'll be 2 debaters per day, even though we're bringing the wild card. So it will not be this lengthy, and it will be a bit more, exciting, because you're getting people who scale through the first playoffs, get into the round of 16.
Well, Alfred Hagai on YouTube is having so much fun. He says interesting topics. Kudos to you guys watching live from Katankwe in Abuja. Thank you for joining and being a part of it. Congratulations is what Jibrin Mohammed on Facebook says, watching live from Suleja. Thank you. And being a part of the debate. The debate is day 4 today, and this is season 2. We're looking forward to the final group coming through, And we hope that it's just as intense as some of the debates have been today.
All right, and so Kingsley Okpara gets to the next round. Martha takes a bow at this point in time. For the next and the last debate for the day, they'll be looking at government should fund scientific research more than sports and entertainment.
Oh boy.
That should be interesting.
Indeed.
All right, let's hear them out when they get here.
Do well, stay tuned.
Abuja, are you ready? I beg to differ. Debate season 2 is here. Only the best.
This is Nigeria Info.